All right, we might make a start for today. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Connect for ArcGIS webinar. We hope you've been having a great day so far. My name is Lucy, and I look after the marketing at GP1. I'm joined today by Lynette and Daniel here in Brisbane, and we are also pleased to have David and Gary from Cartinuum joining us today to support the session and assist with the Q&A. We're also joined today by Alex from Orange City Council, who will be sharing his experience working with Connect for ArcGIS a little later in the session. We'll be getting started in just a moment, but first I'd like to cover a few housekeeping notes just so we know how everything will run today. Throughout the webinar, you'll notice the Q&A chat is open, so if you have any questions at any point, please feel free to pop them in. We'll be keeping an eye on it during the session and answering what we can as we go. As we get started, we'd also love to know who's joining us today, so feel free to use the chat to share where you're joining from and your organization as well. We'll have a dedicated Q&A session at the end for any detailed questions or anything that comes up repetitively. So if you'd like to ask your question live during that time, just let us know via the chat or use the hand raise function. Everyone will remain muted throughout the presentation to limit background noise and ensure the audio stays clear for all attendees. Only the organisers can unmute participants, so if you'd like to speak, just signal and we'll unmute you at your turn. This session is also being recorded and we'll send the recording out afterwards along with any links or resources we mentioned, so there's no need to worry about taking notes in real time. And today's session will run for around 35 minutes, followed by the live Q&A. With that, I'll now hand over to Lynette to get us started.
Hey everyone, before we begin, in the spirit of reconciliation, GP1 acknowledges the Turrbal and Yugara peoples as the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today. We pay our respects to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people joining us today. Today, we're excited to introduce you to Connect for ArcGIS, a powerful extension produced by Cartinuum, designed to seamlessly integrate ArcGIS enterprise systems, helping you streamline data sharing and improve workflows across your organization. Many teams today are facing challenges with disconnected systems, manual data transfers, and keeping spatial and business data in sync. These inefficiencies can lead to delays, errors, and missed opportunities to make informed, timely decisions. In this session, we're going to walk through the real-world challenges many teams face, explore the solution that Connect for ArcGIS provides, and then wrap up with a short demo to bring everything to life. Before we get started, for those who may not know us or haven't joined one of our previous webinars, here's a quick introduction. GP1 Consulting specializes in enterprise GIS solutions, helping organizations get more value from their spatial data. We work across government, utilities, infrastructure, and natural resources, delivering practical web and mobile solutions that turn data into real operational insight. In practice, we support everything from ArcGIS enterprise deployments and upgrades through to custom app development, system integration, and managed services. We also work closely with trusted partners like Cartinuum to deliver proven enterprise solutions. Ultimately, our goal is simple: help organizations work smarter, reduce manual processes, and maximize their GIS investment. So let's meet the team. I'll start us off. My name's Lynette, and I used to work for Esri back in California at the Redlands headquarters. I was on their premium technical support team for ArcGIS Online and Enterprise. I joined the GP1 team a year and a half ago, and I'm an account manager. I work closely with our clients to understand their operational challenges and translate those into practical GIS solutions. My focus is making sure technology delivers real value, whether that's improving workflows, strengthening security, or helping teams get more confidence in how they share and use their spatial data. I'll hand over to Daniel next.
Thanks, Lynette. Hi, everyone. I look after strategic growth and innovation at GP1 Consulting, building strategic partnerships and long-term relationships with our customers, suppliers, and partners. I have recently joined GP1 after almost 20 years in New South Wales Government at Spatial Services. My background is in GIS, remote sensing, web mapping, software development, cloud architecture, and leadership. To talk more about the technology partnership, I'll hand over to David from Cartinuum.
Thanks, Daniel, and hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My role at Cartinuum is really working and supporting our global reseller network to help our partners adopt our ArcGIS extensions and deliver more impactful solutions to their customers. So we're really thrilled to partner with One Consulting. We've been working together over the last 18 months. The team has delivered not only great implementations, one of which you're going to see today, but also bring to Cartinuum a lot of new ideas and innovative use cases for our technology. So really continue to push us to see what's possible. I'll now hand over to Gary to talk more about how Cartinuum extends the capabilities of ArcGIS. Over to you, Gary.
Thanks, David. Hello, I'm Gary Johnson, the Chief Technology Officer at Cartinuum. Our focus is on delivering products and services that help organizations get even more value from their investment in ArcGIS. And a key part of that is Connect for ArcGIS, a product that my team's been developing over a number of years, and one that's helped us by building deep relationships with organizations like Civica and Infor and others. And it's great to be partnering with GP1 to bring this capability to a broader market. And with that, I'll hand back to Daniel.
Thanks, Gary. Now that we've introduced GP1 and Cartinuum, let's take a closer look at Connect for ArcGIS. What Connect really changes is how GIS fits within your broader business environment. Instead of relying on separate systems and disconnected workflows, it allows users to access relevant business information directly within ArcGIS when they need it. The result is a more streamlined experience where spatial and business data come together to support faster, more informed decisions without adding complexity behind the scenes. To understand why this matters, let's look at the challenge this solves in practice. Most GIS teams today aren't struggling with a lack of data. They're struggling with how to use it efficiently. In most organizations, critical information sits across multiple enterprise systems, things like Technology One, Civica, Salesforce, or ServiceNow. To answer even simple questions, users often have to leave their map, log into another system, search for the record, and then piece that information together manually. Let's visualize what this looks like. On one side, you have your GIS, the spatial view of the world, and on the other, you have your core business systems, where key operational data actually lives. What you're seeing here is the gap between these two environments. That gap creates friction, slowing workflows, increasing effort, and making it harder to get a complete view when making decisions. So the question becomes, how do you bring those worlds together in a way that's seamless for users? Here's the shift with Connect for ArcGIS. Instead of having GIS and business systems sitting separately, everything is brought together through a single map-driven interface. In the center, you now have one map, acting as the point of access for both spatial and business data. As users interact with the map, Connect retrieves live information directly from your enterprise systems. Whether that's asset data, customer records, or work orders, there's no need to copy or replicate data, and no complex integration layers behind the scenes. The data stays in the system of record and is simply surfaced in real time when it's needed. So instead of switching between multiple platforms, users can now view everything in one place with full spatial context. Ultimately, this means faster decisions, fewer manual steps, and access to more accurate, up-to-date information, all within the ArcGIS experience. I'll now hand over to Lynette to talk through the core components of Connect for ArcGIS.
Now that we've seen how Connect brings everything together, it's worth briefly looking at what's happening behind the scenes. There are two core components that make this possible. The first is data sources. These are the connections to your existing enterprise system, things like databases, CRM platforms, or asset systems. Connect for ArcGIS comes with a range of pre-built connectors for several enterprise systems such as Civica or TechOne, so you can link into many common systems without needing to build integrations from scratch. It also supports generic connectors, so you're not limited to a fixed list of systems. You can connect to other data sources beyond those that are pre-configured. The second is layer links. This is what ties everything to your map. It allows you to define relationships between your GIS features and records in those external systems using a simple attribute-based queries. So when a user clicks on a feature, Connect knows exactly what to retrieve and displays that information in real time. Together, these components allow you to connect ArcGIS to your business systems in a way that's flexible, scalable, and importantly, doesn't require custom code. I'll now hand over to Daniel to talk through who this is designed for.
Thanks, Lynette. You might be wondering if Connect for ArcGIS is the right fit for your organization. It's designed for teams already using ArcGIS Enterprise or ArcGIS Online alongside other business systems. For GIS admins, it makes it easy to enrich web apps like Experience Builder with live business data without complex integrations. For local government, it brings together data across planning, assets, and property, helping teams collaborate more effectively. For utilities and infrastructure, it connects field and asset data to core systems, giving a real-time operational view. And for managers, it provides clear visibility by bringing enterprise data into a spatial context, supporting faster, more informed decisions. Ultimately, Connect helps bring your GIS and business systems together so teams can work more efficiently with the data they already have. I'll now hand back to Lynette to walk through the key advantages.
Thanks, Daniel. Now that we've covered who Connect is designed for, let's look at the key advantages. First, no code integration. GIS teams can configure and manage connections themselves without needing custom development. Second, real-time data. Information is pulled directly from source systems, so users are always working with the most up-to-date data. Third, extensibility. With a growing library of connectors and support for custom plugins, Connect can adapt as your needs evolve. And finally, a secure enterprise-ready architecture with ISO certification, role-based access, encryption, and secure integration with on-prem systems. Together, these benefits reduce integration complexity, improve efficiency, and help organizations get more value from their GIS investment. Now that we've covered the key advantages, this slide brings it all together in terms of what Connect actually enables your teams to do day to day. At a high level, there are 4 core capabilities. First, retrieve. Users can access live business data directly from the map, giving them immediate operational context without leaving ArcGIS. Second, search. Users can query business systems directly from ArcGIS and visualize those results geographically, making it easier to find and understand information. Third, launch. They can open and interact with business system records straight from a map feature, helping streamline workflows and reduce the need to switch between applications. And finally, report, combining spatial and business data to generate more complete, meaningful outputs. I'll now hand over to Daniel to step through a recent case study and provide some context ahead of the demo.
Thanks, Lynette. Just to bring this to life, I'll share a quick example from Orange City Council. Previously, they were working with a legacy CAD-based system, with data siloed across multiple systems, making access and day-to-day workflows time-consuming and difficult. Working with GP1, they implemented ArcGIS Enterprise and Experience Builder with Connect for ArcGIS integrating their Civica Authority system. This created a centralized council viewer, giving staff real-time access to property, asset, and utility data in one place, with a total of 258 assigned staff. Importantly, this is now being actively used across the organisation. In the last 30 days alone, there were over 130 active users, more than 13,800 queries performed, and over 2,600 searches completed. Rather than just hearing it from me, I'll hand over to Alex from Orange City Council to share what this has meant in practice. Alex, would you like to start with a quick introduction of yourself and your role?
Thanks, Daniel. Hi, I'm Alex McKenzie. I've been working in local government for 19 years and I'm the Spatial Services Team Leader at Orange City Council.
Thanks for that. Can you share what it was like before and after implementing Connect for ArcGIS and what impact it's had for your teams?
Yeah, so our previous system had a web GIS app with integration to Authority, but it was really difficult to maintain, and we needed to deploy a complex integration app to make it work. We had a lot of issues with configuring that app and deploying it. With Connect for ArcGIS, we can configure it in the browser. We only have to deploy 2 files to enable the two-way app launcher with our on-premise Authority system. On top of that, we are planning to migrate to the cloud version of Authority soon, and that change would have been very difficult before, but it's looking to be much easier to switch now.
Thanks for that. And what's been the biggest difference day to day for your staff?
I think it's significantly reduced the number of clicks that staff make to get the information that they need. In the previous system, the UI tended to get in the way or slow them down. Using Connect for ArcGIS, they can select a property or asset on the map, and it returns the key information directly from Authority on the same screen. Or if they need more details, they can easily swap between GIS and Authority using the app, the app launcher workflow.
Thanks very much, Alex. That's a really great example. Really appreciate hearing from you as a council, and it's been really good working with your team implementing this. It really shows how bringing GIS and business systems together don't just improve technology, it makes a real difference to how teams work day to day. I'll now hand over to Lynette to set the scene for the demo and walk you through it live.
Thanks, Daniel. Before we jump in, I want to give you a bit of context around what you're about to see. We have put together some synthetic data to simulate a local council managing its spatial data in ArcGIS Online, while work orders and maintenance information sit in a system like Civica. To understand the status of an asset or property, staff often need to switch between those two systems, moving back and forth just to get a complete picture. That creates inefficiencies and slows down decision making. What Connect for ArcGIS does is remove that disconnect, retrieving business data live within the ArcGIS experience so everything is available in one place. Earlier, we talked about the capabilities of Connect, and we'll take a look at retrieve, search, and report, and how they're done in real time. So as you watch the demo, the key thing to look for is how Connect helps users move seamlessly between spatial context and business context without duplicating data or switching between multiple systems. In the demo, I'll show 2 main workflows. First, I'll click on a feature on the map and retrieve the matching live business record. Then I'll run a search in Experience Builder Connect for ArcGIS widget to show how users can also start with business search criteria and locate the matching feature spatially. Then finally, I'll run a report on the item that we located through the search result. I'll share my screen and we can get started. All right, so now that I've shared my screen, you can see these tabs up here, and we'll start on the one all the way on the left. This is CivicLand. This is our business system as we referred to it, or where our data is being hosted. Turn the screen a little bit. And so you can see it has properties, owners, active dogs, dangerous dogs, open planning. So different kinds of data all in one place. And we're going to be focusing on property data today. And if we go to properties of this data, it will show as different parcels or different properties that we can look at, and each one of them has different data inside of that. And so if we go to our next tab, this is an experience builder from ArcGIS Online without the Connect widget. So that way we can see the difference. So if you're in ArcGIS Online on your experience builder and you click on an item, this is what you'll see. And this just has object ID and shape length and just basic information. And then if we go to our next tab, this is our ArcGIS Experience Builder with our Connect widget, and this is the widget over here. And if we click on this, this will take us to a pre-saved point where we could then click and get that parcel information. There we go. So this is the retrieve aspect. So it just retrieved this data from our tab over here where our data is being hosted. And then it also has the map data. And so if we go back into CivicLand and we search for that parcel, we can see that those property details are right here and that they're being pulled into CivicLand. And so when we're on Civic, I actually want to show you one more thing is so we don't have spatial data for this. And so that's also the benefit of pulling that into here is that you now have these two data in one place. And I'll give a brief little overview of what that looks like in Connect for ArcGIS. So here's what Connect for ArcGIS looks like when you want to set up this type of configuration. You have your data sources. This is where you'll connect your CivicLand data. You have your layer links. This is where you connect your layers from ArcGIS Online. And so this pulls them both into one place through the widget in Experience Builder. And if you notice that this looks a little bit different right here, that's because there's arcade expressions that make it look a little bit nicer. And down here is the out-of-box look. So let's go ahead and run a search now. We'll do a zoning type of search for today. And as you can see, this returns back a lot of different options, but we'll just choose the one with the fewest amount on it and take a zoom in there. And so when we click on this item, there was 2 search results, but we just went to the one that it zoomed us to. We could see that it's still retrieving that live data from CivicLand. And then let's run a report on this now. So if you click this blue square, we'll say generate report. And depending what kind of data you have, you can run different reports. So because we're using property data, these are the type of reports we'll be able to run. We'll go ahead and click that. And for the sake of time, this usually takes around 30 seconds, but I have one pulled up that I ran yesterday. That way we can just take a look at this. So we've modified this to have our GP One Consulting logo and colors that we use for our company. And so you can modify that as well. And we have the image of this specific parcel. And we also have the property information and parcel information that's from CivicLand, as well as the GIS data, all in one place. And that'll conclude our presentation for today. I'll go ahead and send back.
That was a great demonstration of Connect for ArcGIS, Lynette. Thank you. Let's quickly recap what we just walked through. What we've just seen can really be broken down into 3 core capabilities. First, retrieve. By simply clicking on a feature in ArcGIS, users can pull back live information directly from a business system, giving them immediate context without needing to leave the map or rely on duplicated data. Second, search. Users can query business systems directly from ArcGIS using a range of identifiers, whether that's an asset ID, property reference, or another attribute, and dynamically surface that information in a spatial context. And finally, report. Once that information is available, users can access linked records, continue their workflows, and generate outputs, turning insight into action quickly, all within the same environment. That wraps up the main presentation. So I'll now hand over to Lucy to lead the Q&A session.
Thanks, Daniel. I'm just going to put in a link in the chat, or you can also scan the QR code for the for our survey to give us feedback on our webinar so far. Also, feel free at this point to put in any questions you have into the Q&A box as well, and then we'll move into the session as planned. Yeah, the link, the post survey link just helps us improve our webinars in the future. So really appreciate if you took the time to fill that in for us, or just take a couple minutes. I will just open up the chat. Doesn't look like we have any questions coming in just yet.
So feel free to raise your hands and we can do a live question that way as well if you like.
That's okay. We might run through some of the commonly asked questions as well that we find. So a common thing is that a question is there a free trial available for Connect for ArcGIS? Yes, there is. You can experience the benefits of Connect for ArcGIS with a risk-free trial. It's designed to be quick and simple to deploy. You can also explore its capabilities without any upfront commitment. We do recommend that you come through us and we can assess your environment and help you with that trial as well to integrate that. All good. Another commonly asked question that we have is, how can I integrate Connect for ArcGIS with my existing business systems? Daniel, did you want to take that one?
Yeah, I can talk to that one. So Connect for ArcGIS comes with a range of standard plugins available to all subscribers, such as SQL database queries and OpenMeteo weather services. So you can get started straight away. And for more advanced needs, premium connectors are available to integrate with systems like Salesforce, ServiceNow, Microsoft Dynamics, and they can be added to your subscription at any time. If you'd like help exploring options, you can contact GP1 or Cartinuum to reach out and discuss those options.
Perfect. I just saw a couple of questions come through, so we'll just get to those now. We've got one from Scott. He said, I may have missed this. Is Connect for ArcGIS an SaaS, SaaS application or deployed on-premise?
Cartinuum is a SaaS application. If you have ArcGIS Enterprise running on-premise, there is a component of Cartinuum, of Connect for ArcGIS, that you can install within your environment. If you've got business systems on-premise as well, if you need to integrate them, there's a relay service that you can install inside your firewall to provide that connection between the ArcGIS Enterprise and your business systems. But probably most people, I imagine, would be using it as a SaaS offering, either from ArcGIS Enterprise or from ArcGIS Online. But yeah, there's a SaaS component of Connect for ArcGIS that runs in the Cartinuum cloud as well.
Amazing, thank you. We also have one from Kurt. He said, can you have an edit data function via Connect for ArcGIS?
I'm not aware of an edit function via Connect. I think the closest I can think of is the launching functionality. So when you're in the map view, you can use the launcher functionality to open up your business system to that record, and then you can edit from there. Please, Gary or David, if there's edit functionality that I'm not aware of, feel free to chip in.
No, good answer, Daniel. It's right that editing is left in the system of record where it belongs. I guess the challenge is replicating all of the form functionality that might be around relationships between fields, constraints, data integrity rules that really best belong where editing sits with the data where it belongs. And yeah, absolutely, the launch allows you to very quickly jump to that record and edit it in the owning system.
Thanks, Gary.
Amazing, thank you. Perfect. From Lauren, we have, how does the Connect for GIS system connect data? Is it a one-to-one connection or a one-to-many by unique ID?
Yeah, thanks, Lauren. It is a one-to-many connection, or perhaps many-to-many. But when you click on a feature on the map, it uses an ID that's been configured to retrieve the information from potentially multiple records from your business system in the background.
Amazing. From Adrian, do the comparison data sources need an address to connect? Can it use lat longs or other position data?
It doesn't need to use an address. Often it will use identifiers that you have within your business system, like an asset ID, things like that. So I'm not sure that it ever uses lat longs to connect to the backend business system, because often the business systems don't have that spatial information. They are often a non-spatial business system in the background. And you're using the ArcGIS system for the spatial side with all the positioning information, and the backend business system for the other system of record attributes. Gary, did you want to add anything to that one?
Yeah, thanks, Daniel. You're absolutely right that the main use case is where the spatial data is in the GIS and the business data might be aspatial, but you can set up layer links that are based on geometry. So, for example, you might be connecting to a SQL database that you have on premise, and you can run a query using the geometry of the selected parcel for that. There's other examples. There's a Before You Dig Australia connector, which again uses geometry to do the search rather than any specific ID field. But the common use case is based on some common ID between the records.
So that.
Perfect. Next we have a question from Wes. What are the integration options available for Technology One?
I believe there's an out-of-the-box connector for Technology One, and again, going to flick past this one to Gary if you wanted to talk a little bit more about that one.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We have a connector that is for Technology One, works with CI Anywhere, and allows you to query web services from CIA to pull that same sort of data we just looked at with the Civic Land example.
Perfect. Thanks, Gary and Daniel. I'll just check the chat and see if we have any more coming through. And if you have any questions after we finish the webinar as well, feel free to reach out. We are happy to help. Okay. Oh, we just heard another one from Lauren. Do you have a connector for Maximo? Sorry if I'm saying that wrong.
I'm going to flick past this one back to Gary again.
So we've got a range of common connectors that work with being able to do SQL queries. So if you've wanted to connect down to the data tier, you can absolutely do it. For a specific Maximo connector, we don't have one of those as yet, but we do find that where you're connecting into that data tier, you can use one of the sort of generic connectors to achieve that.
Perfect. Thanks, Gary. All right. There were some really great questions today. Thank you. If we didn't get to your question, or if you think of it after the session as well, don't worry. We'll send our details in the follow-up email as well, and feel free to reach out as well. Thanks again for your time today. I'll hand back to Lynette just to close out the session.
Thanks again, everyone, for joining us today. We hope this session has given you a clear understanding of how Connect for ArcGIS can help your organization better integrate GIS with your enterprise systems and unlock more value from your data. A big thank you to everyone who contributed to today's session, and a special thanks to David and Gary from Cartinuum, as well as Alex from Orange City Council for sharing insights from the project. A recording of today's webinar, along with any links and follow-up resources, will be sent out shortly. If what you've seen today has sparked some ideas, we'd love to continue the conversation, whether that's a deeper demo, talking through your specific use cases, or exploring how this could work in your environment. Please feel free to reach out or connect with the team. We'd be more than happy to help. Thanks again for your time, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.